drinking Sprite or not drinking Sprite?
That's a true dichotomy.
False dichotomy. So then now, because this is a conditional statement, right? So you have your independent statement here, right? You have reflect is drinking Sprite, right? That's independent. And then you have your disjunct, which is another independent statement to say that, or you're not drinking Sprite, right? P2 and how this would work just through modus ponens is you can either negate, or modus tollens, you can either negate the independent statement or negate the dependent statement. I'll let you pick. Which one do you want to negate?
Let's negate the second one.
Okay. So
Donnie, for 3.
Then it would be
That's modus
then it would be
tollens.
reflect is not drinking Sprite. Or wait, reflect is not drinking Sprite.
Mm-hmm.
Conclusion, reflect is drinking Sprite. Now, why this is invalid, why this is problematic, right? Why this cannot be used for argumentation if you want to be taken seriously is because you see how premise 1 is reflect is drinking Sprite?
Mm-hmm.
You see how the conclusion is reflect is drinking Sprite?
Well, actually, the premise 1 is reflect is drinking Sprite or not drinking Sprite.
And you negated the second one, right?
Yeah.
So then you take square brackets. You take square brackets around this, the logical operator and the subject, which is not. It also is called nor in Boolean logic. So you take a bracket here, and then you apply your secondary operator, which is already a not statement. Reflect is not bracket drinking Sprite. Therefore, reflect is drinking Sprite. Because 2 negatives make a positive, which is just to affirm premise 1. And the definition of question begging is when one of your premises one of your conclusion is one of your premises of your argument.
Yes, that's question begging.
So that's what the first premise, the entire premise is, if you're using deductive logic and deductive format here, then the first premise, the entire thing is false.
And remember what I asked you? Do you want to negate the independent variable or the dependent variable?
Yeah,
but you said negate the second one, which is this part, the subject with the operator, the subject with the operator. So if you said negate the first one, I would have put the is there, bracket it, and then I would have put a not. And actually, we'll write it out again, just so you get both forms, because I don't want you to feel like I'm boxing you in. So as reflect is drinking Sprite or not drinking Sprite.
But you understand what my reflect
drinking. Wait, no, is not drinking Sprite.
Trying to make you understand why you're questioning begging.
Conclusion, reflect.
Question, and that's a fallacy.
But I mean, can't you use an example that's more analogous, where we're not using an or statement? That is, one is true or the other is false, and therefore
it's just building it up. You could just you're building up the syllogism this way. It's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Go ahead, AR.
I'm just saying, can you
doesn't matter whether or not
a syllogism that is not using an or statement where if one is false, the other is true, and therefore the whole entire statement is always going to be false. So can you use a different example that's more analogous?
Oh, sure. You want just a regular conditional?
Yeah, because P1 will always be.
Okay, so we're going to use variables just because I don't know about your... okay, so for objective truth, we're going to use...
Your conclusion is wrong based on what you just... Your conclusion is wrong for the second argument.
Oh, my bad. So we're going to use objective truth. We're going to use the variable x, right? Just simple. And then your second one was God. We're going to use the variable big G. I know. Top G, if you will. So if x, then G, then you want to say what?
Sorry, somebody came in my room.
What was your second premise? Give your second premise, reflect.
I said that objective truth. Oh, what did I say again?
No, you were talking about whether or not God exists. Oh yeah, you said objective truth is God
necessitates a transcendent foundation. Yeah.
No, you said you said something about God. You mentioned God in your premise.
Yeah. By transcendent foundation, he means
my
God.
first premise didn't have God in it. It was objective truth necessitates a transcendent foundation. God is the only...
Is that transcendent foundation?
Yeah, that's premise 2. God is the only transcendent foundation.
Okay, so we're going to use T for transcendent foundation. Actually, no, TF, just because I'm going to fucking forget. FX, then TF. Premise 2 is what? God is TF?
Yeah, the only transcendent foundation for objective truth.
Oh fuck! I fucked up my variables. G is TF. What was the conclusion?
Therefore, God exists. Can you bring the camera down more?
Yeah, just 1 second. Right. So you see how so here we have fuck. This is blurry as shit. Oh, I made it worse.
You made it worse. Holy shit!
Everybody left.
You gotta just give a call.
All right.
It's fine.
Okay. So
Kind of read.
if X, then transcend. If X, which is objective truth, then there's a transcendent foundation that's necessary. God is a transcendent foundation that's necessary. Conclusion: God exists. Where did you prove X?
So we're saying. Well, I didn't say if X. I don't know why you're putting that if.
Because you said verbatim 10 seconds ago, if objective truth exists, then there is a necessary transcendent foundation.
No, I said
X is objective truth.
Because I'm not talking about...
X is objective truth.
X is objective truth, bro.
I know, but why are you saying if? Why are you adding the if there? Why?
Because if I don't add the if, then it's... Well, look, I can remove the if, but then you're not following any inference rules.
Yeah, if then. You gotta use the if you're gonna use then.
Okay. Yeah,
so I can remove the inference rules, but then it's just nonsense. It's up to you.
Yeah,
do you want me to be charitable or do you not want me to be charitable?
Well,
if fine. X, then TF.
All right, cool. That's fine. So where did you prove objective truth and whatever is baked into that concept already?
Yeah, because that doesn't follow either. If X, then TF doesn't even follow. You have to have an argument for that as And then...
God is the only
just because
foundation for objective truth.
And then G...
Wait, hold on. Wait, what did you just say? What did you just say? What did you say? God
I said I can see your point. Yeah, I can see your point.
What did you just say? God is the necessary foundation.
The only foundation. Yeah. For objective. For only foundation.
Do you see how here you're saying if objective truth, then there's a transcendent foundation? And then you're saying God is the necessary foundation for objective truth? You see how you're swapping them there?
Question begging. That's question begging.
That's what I tried to show you that you're doing up here.
Yes, he's question begging. That's a whole fallacy, bro.
AR, is he question begging?
He's question begging.
Oh, the old QB.
This is what I tried to do up here. I'm glad you said this because it would have been incredibly hard to show how you were doing this here if you didn't. Okay,
He left.
All right, that's fine.
wait. He actually left.
No, he's probably got a phone call. He's not gonna.
Oh, okay.
He don't leave like that. I don't think he's gonna leave like that.
Well, I just wanted to say I think evidence is that which inspires belief. So.
I think evidence is something that's more expected under one hypothesis or another.
Well, you're just using an idiosyncratic definition then.
Well, either way, evidence is a data point that raises the proposition for something to be true.
AR, another idiosyncratic definition. Pruk, you have your own definition of it? Because I have the right one.
Idiosyncratic? This is literally the philosophical argument. I mean, this is...
oh my god.
This is
you believe that, Miss?
This is the SCP.
That guy's a part of your camp, which is depressing.
Who was part of who camp?
That guy. He was part of the God camp. I lump them all in together. Except Landon. I don't put Landon in that boat. Mainly because he doesn't debate religion and refuses to. But that's the only reason.
RH, you're a Christian?
Yeah, did you not know?
I thought you were just a theist, like a deist or something.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Are you lying right now, or you really thought that?
I thought you were a theist. I didn't know if you were Christian.
That's the first time I've ever seen somebody not understand. I'm glad he said the second part, because if he didn't say that, I was thinking, like, how the fuck am I going to explain how he's doing this here? Because he didn't say it in his argument.
He did it. He said it because he's equivocating TF, which is the Transcendental Foundation, as God. He didn't say that first, but
he's equivocating TF out of those premises.
How did you do that? How are you doing that?
What do you mean?
Wait, how are you guys doing that?
What do you mean? AR, listen to me. Listen to me and listen up good. Listen, AR. You run a TikTok live every day for 16 hours. You just need to fuck around and find out about this app.
Yo, you're not lying. Like, I really be on here for a long time. But we could RH, why do you believe, I don't understand. Why were you a co-host for an atheist? And you're like you're questioning the the other theists.
Yeah,
as
well,
if-
what I care about in my religious belief, I could care less if people come to the right conclusion on accident. That's not what I give a fuck about. If people
Okay,
don't
great.
have a good reason to believe in God, I don't want like people who trip over rocks and fall into a God belief. They bring the movement down.
Okay, fine. So then, what's your argument for God?
I mean, obviously, the argument for morality is going to be the strongest one, but
No, it's not.
I could.
That's a terrible argument.
That's your opinion.
All right, give me. That's literally what he was trying to. Well, no, he wasn't. But let me
Yeah.
hear.
So
Let's
premise
hear.
one: if objective truth exists, then there needs to be a necessary transcendental foundation. That would be my first premise.
No, give me your premises for your syllogism. You're funny, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to get your premises. I want to get your premises for your syllogism.
Yeah. So I run my own argument called the double B triple A, and that's not a troll.
Okay, just give the argument, bro.
Okay, I'm going cam on so you can see I'm not trolling. So double B triple A is the book burning argument against atheism. So basically, premise one: if all Bibles and science books were burned, Bibles would come back, and science books wouldn't.
What?
Then modus ponens from there.
No. You're lying. This is not. You're you're trolling, bro.
AR, look at me.
Yo.
AR, look at me. I'm being dead ass.
If you burn science books, they will come back.
The three A's are argument against atheism. Listen, look, listen, AR. If Bibles were burned, do you think God wouldn't just inspire the Bible again?
No, because I don't think because you're presuming that God is inspiring the Bible. You're already assuming God in your premise.
Oh my God, dude!
You're
Listen,
assuming, hold on,
have you wait?
God has to be the
Oh, I
conclusion,
can't even get a sentence in. Now I'm being interrupted.
All right, your question, Bacon, but go ahead.
Look, do you agree that there are verse freaks out there?
The what?
There are Bible verse freaks who know large chunks of the Bible by heart.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm saying,
so do you? How many scientists you know the whole science book by heart? None. Kyler,
right,
no, you don't.
All right.
Shut the.
All right. If you're gonna use this idea of like the books are gonna be recreated again, you have to give them all amnesia, and then we'll see whether or not.
Yeah, what kind of being could get everybody on Earth amnesia? Science or God? I mean, your argument's self-defeating, but that's fine.
I'm saying if we were to burn all the books and then give everybody amnesia, which ones would come back?
What's up? Wait, 1 second. Wait. Hey.
Which book will come back?
Yeah, AR, our old guest is back. Stop harassing me.
Oh, okay.
My whole phone crashed. My phone crashed.
The muzzle.
Or it died. Well, it died.
It was too much information for your phone.
Yes, it did die, but as we were ending, I was agreeing with you that I got your point. That maybe I should have made a different. I should have changed necessitates. I think probably to requires would have been a bit more.
What?
And it would have proven. Yeah.
That's not the point of contention here. That's
okay.
not.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I don't think requires and necessitates adds or takeaways from the question begging.
Okay, well, if I wrote it like this,
do you know what the
if
question?
If objective truth exists, objective truth cannot exist.
You put up the thing again, or you're aware to hold on. Reflect. Cage, can you put your screen up or no? You're already aware.
I stopped caring. You're good, man. Go ahead.
Okay, damn, because it was easier to see it visually how he was questioning.
Oh, fucking write it out again. All right.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. It's all good. It's all good.
You already deleted it?
Yo, Reflect. You understanding that you are
already fucking deleted it?
Assuming your conclusion in the premise.
Yeah.
So if I rewrote it saying requires instead of necessitates,
it doesn't change. That's not the word that changes the question. It doesn't change anything. That's not the variable.
So let's reread it, and then you can tell me why. If objective truth necessitates, requires a transcendent foundation.
No. Hold on, wait. Oh my God. No. Reflect. I need you to be more semantically sound here. If you're gonna say if, you gotta use then.
Okay, so then I would have to kind of rewrite it a little.
if
So I won't use it. I'll just say objective truth exists because I believe it does. So objective truth exists. Objective truth cannot exist without a transcendent foundation. I'll put it that way. God, therefore, and then the premise 3 would be God is the only sufficient transcendent foundation. Therefore, God exists. So I'm adding a premise. Objective truth exists.
Let's go with premise. Hold on, premise 2. What did you say?
Objective truth cannot exist without a transcendent foundation. So if I said requires,
So this is what you're saying. In premise 2, you're saying that objective truth cannot exist without God, right? Because you're equivocating God as the transcendental foundation, right?
Yes, I am saying that that God is the only transcendent foundation. Yes.
Okay, great. So what you're saying is, if we're gonna reword this, because we word this just to so for simplicity purposes, you're saying that in premise 2 that since objective truth exists, therefore God. That's what you're saying in premise 2.
No, I'm saying that it requires a specific type of foundation. That foundation is transcendent in order for it to exist. Objective truth is dependent on God, essentially.
Yes, but I'm saying that you're equivocating foundation as God.
Transcendent.
There's no difference between transcendental foundation and God.
Okay. Well.
Okay.
No,
so
no,
if you can say that, so if you're
there are
gonna
other
say that,
things.
reflect. Where is the symmetry breaker? There's no symmetry breaker because you're saying it is the same thing, right? You're saying that God is the transcendental foundation, right?
Yeah, is the only sufficient.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing then.
So then tell me this. If I wanted to put it in
hold on, reflect. We can replace transcendental foundation with God because you're equivocating the two. Okay. Okay, great.
Yes.
You're equivocating the two
premises.
So then the premise is just this. This is what your premise is saying.
If objective truth,
since there is objective
God,
since objective truth exists,
objective
therefore
truth,
God.
therefore
That is
God.
your premise too.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're assuming and we're accepting that objective truth exists.
Yeah.
So is there anything wrong with that?
Yeah, because you're already putting the conclusion, which God exists, as that's the conclusion, right? God exists.
Yep.
Okay, you're already assuming that God exists in your premises.
Well, wait. We would just we would just deny premise 1.
Forget about premise 1.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In order to deny God,
hold up, guys, please, guys. Oh my God, forget about premise 1. We're looking at premise 2. Premise 2 states that God is already existing.
What? No, premise 2 would be objective truth exists.
No, premise 2.
Reflect. Is that true?
Yes,
no.
Premise 1, because I said I'm not going to use if. I'm just going to say objective truth exists as the first premise.
Hey, bro. Let me ask a question and then you answer, okay? So, premise 1, if objective truth exists, then God exists. Premise 2.
That's not what he's saying.
Hey, AR, I know that's not what he's saying. I'm saying I want him to follow an inference rule because, of the thing earlier. But let me just ask my question, okay? Premise 1, if objective truth exists, then the Christian God exists. Premise 2, objective truth exists. Conclusion, the Christian God exists. Is that a fair representation of what you said?
That is not what he said.
I didn't ask that if that's what he said. I asked if that's a fair representation of what he said.
No, he switched up the premises. He's just switched the premises already.
Okay, but I think that he knows what he's trying to say better than you do, so that's why I'm asking him.
No, that's not because and plus on
okay,
top of
then then you're an idiot and talk to AR now.
Oh no, Zach, he switched the. You didn't listen when he switched it all up.
It's hard for me to listen when he's just saying gibberish.
Okay, all right. P1 is objective truth exists. That's P1. That's his P1.
No way.
Yes, that's his P1. And then the second premise, which
objective truth cannot exist without a transcendent foundation.
Bro, how's that not synonymous with what the fuck I just said?
Look at what he just said. He said in premise 2 that objective truth cannot exist without God.
Are you just listing facts or are you trying to make an argument?
This is a terrible argument because he's question begging.
Wait, AR, can I run this line real quick? Yeah, so if you're just equivocating transcendent foundation with God, then you just mean that objective truth can't exist without God existing, which is just synonymous to say, if objective truth exists, then God exists. So why didn't you accept my modus ponens? Premise 1, if objective truth exists, then God exists. Premise 2, objective truth exists. Conclusion, God exists. That's a way smarter way to say what you're trying to say.
You didn't say that. You said the Christian God.
Okay, then God. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are different.
Okay, so premise 1, if objective truth exists, then God exists. Premise 2, objective truth exists. Conclusion, God exists. Is that a fair representation of what you're trying to say?
I would say essentially, yeah.
Okay, then premise 1 is obviously going to need an ancillary argument.
Why is premise 1 problematic for you?
Yeah, because it doesn't logically follow from there being objective truth, there being a mind that created the universe.
So you just don't believe that objective truth exists?
No,
I do.
no,
I said it doesn't follow.
He's granting you objective truth, but
You're question begging. Reflect.
He's saying that objective truth can exist in other places and not just in the mind. But
Okay, can you express that?
Yeah, imagine a world where 2 rocks exist but no minds exist. Those 2 rocks are objectively
I can't
true.
hear you.
yeah, that's not a good argument, though.
Zach.
Dude, I always forget your name.
Zach.
Zach. Okay, I'm not gonna forget again. That's not a substantive argument.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if there's no logical contradiction between 2 rocks existing and no minds existing, then it's logically possible.
No, what I really need to know, Reflect, right, is that if you're going to deduce that that objective truth necessitates a foundation, you have to give some type of deduction for it, some type of deductive reason for it, or give which is also the same thing as deductive, give the contradiction of the contrary.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I'm saying
The negation. You have to give me the contradiction to the negation.
Okay, tell me because the way I'm trying to make this, I'm trying to put it into a deductive form, but this in simple language, objective truth without God, there is no objective truth. Objective truth exists.
Right.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, but again, right? You're already assuming God. That is a question begging. This is a fallacy.
Okay, what is the problem with with using something that's question begging? Can you tell me in real terms? And also, give me an example why question begging is a problem, even in this case. Because it sounds like what you're saying, and this is perhaps my limitation, but it sounds like what you're saying is because it's question begging, therefore it's not an argument and it can't be true.
It's a fallacious argument. Look, Spider-Man exists because the book says Spider-Man exists. Where did I get that from? From the book that says Spider-Man exists. Like,
but just because it's fallacious, does that mean it is a false conclusion?
Look,
that's the question.
It means that it's not a valid or sound argument.
Okay, yeah, I would actually agree with I'm a Christian. I would agree with AR. Like, this isn't an informative argument.
So why can't you just argue the point? Why?
I am. Look. Listen to what I'm saying. You're being defensive. Wait.
In order for you to say that objective truth has to come from a transcendental foundation, you have to provide some sort of deductive reasoning as to why the negation can't be true.
Yeah, but you have to provide that. You have to provide something. No. Because you have to counter the.
Do you know what burden shifting is?
No, but if I'm.
That was a question.
I am making the claim. You're right.
Okay, so you have made the claim. You have to substantiate the claim. You have yet to substantiate why it was required for objective truth to have a foundation.
I didn't mean to use my big boy voice on you. Sorry.
I mean, we could, but it wouldn't be in a simple syllogism. It would be us looking at all of the other examples and the possibilities for anything objective, which is absent of our own. I'm asking
for the P and not P. I'm asking for the P and not P for the negation.
Let's just talk it out, right? Because I think that's going to be easier then.
Nah.
Let's just talk it out. Is there any other example where objective truth can be present without
look?
God?
Let's say that we can't
that's
look.
Exactly what,
yeah, sorry, Prook, go ahead.
That's question begging.
That's the P and not P. That's like he's saying that objective truth exists within the mind of God, and then
that's question, Farouk.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, Prook's on our side. AR,
you
you gotta
have to talk about like we can move on from that. Like I think
No.
here's the stuff.
Guys,
Just come up with a counter. Then the whole argument is defeated.
Look,
That's my point.
look.
Hold on, replay,
Let's
replay.
let's imagine you were writing this argument down because we passed away. You would have to support your own argument, right?
Hold on. He just stated
If I may,
another.
just real
Just
quick.
stated another fallacy. He said the argument.
You're not wrong. Right, reflect, like, you're absolutely correct to refute an argument, even, like, it doesn't, the particular fallacy you're giving does not invalidate the argument. Why you should care about it, and this is the first thing I just want to say real briefly, is because these typical informal fallacies show mistakes in reasoning. Now, the mistake in reasoning, as you've just said, provides some argument against it. Well, you can do that two ways. One, with a counterfactual. Two, with something like a counterpossible. So what Zach tried to do was say, look, it is possible that I accept objective truth, but I don't accept that a creator or some God notion of you've put forth is true. And that's exactly the burden he has to fulfill.
Yeah. So he has to provide that. How can you provide it?
Yeah, I did.
He said, look, it can be true that, you hold some alethic value for some proposition and it not be true that God exists. Right?
Okay,
There's no
so
contradiction. There's no violation of identity. There's no type of issues with some type of excluded middle. Right? That's possible.
But then what was his example of something that is
Okay,
not
imagine
God?
a world. Imagine a
Hold on,
world.
Zach, hold on. Just really quickly. It can be true that, take it, humans exist, or there's something as simple as this. It can be true that a rock exists. Right? It can be true that a rock exists in my hand. And it not be true that God exists. And the reason that is possible is because there's no contradiction, which means by saying this rock exists, I'm not saying the rock doesn't exist. Right? And that's just to say that I'm not giving a proposition and its negation. I'm not saying that this rock is identical to something such that I'm equivocating. And I'm not saying that the proposition of this rock existing is some sort of ambiguous probabilistic thing. I'm saying it is binary. And that is all the burden of a counterpossible that you have to do. Just have to display the possibility of the contrary. That's it. And that's the mistaken reasoning you've made. That's why it's a fallacy. That's why you should care.
Yeah, you should at least point out the contradiction in the contrary in order for us to decide that what you
And
said
I've
is-
demonstrated that the contrary is not impossible. Haha.
But
Yeah,
how?
yeah.
So I'm still.
Then wait,
I still don't
it will be easy for you to prove that I didn't do it. I say there's objectively a rock in my hand. You point out the contradiction. Go.
But you don't have a rocket.
What's the P and not P?
Look, I have a Mountain Dew bottle in my hand.
Yeah.
What's the P and not P?
You have a Mountain Dew bottle and in your hand. The not P, you don't have a Mountain Dew bottle in your hand.
Okay, but it's false. I just have a Mountain Dew bottle in my hand.
But you said that. Well, okay. So
No.
then
What he
tell me.
means, point out the contradiction. Okay, so reflect, right? You're saying that objective truth requires a foundation. We want to know why you believe this has to be the case. In order for you to say that it requires it, that means there's an impossibility to the negation or the contrary.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
you
I
haven't
could give it
provided.
to you.
But
in
you
plain
haven't
English
provided the
without-
contradiction. Hold on. You haven't provided a contradiction to the contrary for you to necessitate that it needs a foundation.
I could give it to you in plain English, and we could just talk it out and explain why it can only come from God. Then I would just explain it.
Look,
Which would
reflect.
be essentially that because God.
The more
because
wait, please,
God
please,
is only-
stop. Look, there's a point of contention here, and it's just the more words that we allow you to say, the further we're gonna get away from this simple deriving a proposition and its negation in conjunction. Okay, look, if I say, imagine a world where no minds exists, right? But a rock exists. You have to derive from the axioms of logic alone, how that cannot be possible. And if you can do that, then my position is defeated, okay? Do it.
If I can do it, you said?
Yes.
Imagine a world. So this is an imaginary world where no minds exist.
Yeah, do you know what possible world semantics are?
But I just imagined it. And so if I'm imagining the world that has no minds, but my mind imagined it, then that's self-defeating.
Okay, you're just okay, I'm going to try and say this in a way that is I like you, okay? So look, I know it's hard to think about objectively the case, but have you ever heard the saying, like, if a tree falls and nobody's around to hear it, did it actually fall? Or whatever, does it make a sound?
Did it make a sound?
Have you heard that?
Which, depending on how you define sound, it would be no, but yeah.
Shut up, AR. Nobody likes you. Reflect. Do you know that? Do you know about that saying? You can unmute.
Reflex. I don't think he knows how to.
His phone's gonna die again. Weird how every time he gets pinned in a contradiction, his phone dies. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Bro said, if I'm imagining the hypothetical world with no minds, my mind's imagining it. Checkmate.
Maybe I can help him out.
Huh?
Or at least try to establish what's going on. So if I say to you, Zach, like, if Zach is tall, ripped, and handsome, then OG Kylo is black, right? Something like that.
Right.
And you say to me, well, Cage, that really doesn't follow. It's kind of fallacious because this mistaken reasoning you've made, it could be true that I am, what did I say, tall, rich, and handsome. But OG Kylo could not be black in some possible world.
Right.
And that's just in virtue that it doesn't violate any modal or any sort of modal principles that we have that, defer back to classical logic. It's perfectly possible in some world that I'm tall, dark, or tall, rich, and handsome, and OG Kylo is a white man. That's perfectly possible, right?
Right.
In the same way that if I say if objective truth exists, then God exists, well, it's perfectly possible in some world that objective truth exists and God doesn't exist, given it doesn't, violate any modal principles that are indexed to classical logic. That's perfectly fine. Right.
And if you derive a contradiction from a rock existing with no minds, but then you insert God into that world and somehow it can make sense, cool. The first one would alone be enough to at least make me have to reformulate my argument. But yeah.
On a slightly different topic, Zach, do you think men are either short, funny, or jacked, and you can only choose two of those three?
Yeah, because wait, short, funny, or jacked? No.
Yeah, you can either be funny and jacked, but you're short. You can either be short and jacked, but you're not funny. You can be short and funny, but you're not jacked.
Well, I'm tall and funny, but I'm not jacked.
No, it seems to be holding true then.
Okay. Oh.
So reflect. So what we're saying really is that
I don't think. Wait, until he unmutes, there's no point in talking because it's just gonna be like it's just gonna I don't think he's here anymore. I think his phone crashed again.
Nah, because he's still on the panel.
I know that he's on.
He must be on the phone then.
Yeah, maybe he's on the phone. Hey, type in the chat if you're still here, and if you don't type in the chat in 3 seconds, then I win. 3, 2, 1. Wow, look at that.
Or type. No, somebody don't. No.
Who turned my camera off?
Nobody want to look at your ugly boy. Hey, Kylo, your hairline looks like a PS2 memory card.
Oh, he called him the N-word. Does it look like you're trying to take a fat shit right now, bro?
Let's see if he responds. Hold on, let's see if he responds.
I love you. You've been so kind to us just berating you after, 10 minutes. Honestly, it's quite refreshing. I know I'm a dickhead, but, that's just typical me. Don't worry about me.
I mean, once you remember that you were an eyeless, you calm down.
I'm trying to get Reflect to understand. That he's making a fallacious argument. Change the format. What do you mean change the format?
Oh, he wants to come up.
Oh, you want to... Okay, all right. Cool. I got you.
Well, not him. Somebody wants to come up. They look like a troll thing, like a creature.
I think this is what SAP wanted. SAP, this is what you wanted, SAP?
Hey, what's up, profile?
Wait, Kylo. Wait, let me put that filter on real quick, and then I have an experiment.
How do you look more light-skinned in the center of your face than at the top of your head? Don't fucking smile. That's creepy as shit. It looks like Get Out.
There's so many people. I had to step away from
Slurms.
That's triggering me.
All right, Reflect. Yo, you back, Reflect?
Yeah.
Reflect
I would prefer to just talk it out. I know, you want to pee, not pee, and just in a syllogism form, but I think it's easier to just say, here's why.
Reflect. I'm not asking for syllogisms. I'm not even asking for premises.
Look. I'm
asking for I'm asking for you to point out the contradiction. This is just literally us talking.
Yeah.
I'm not asking for a formal
syllogism. And also, I think you would want that too, because wouldn't you want to be correct for the right reasons?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Okay. And do you think that your position gets better or worse with more clarification?
I agree with you. That
Okay,
it
so
would get better.
if you could, this is just a cheat code for you to just like cut my legs out from under me, right? I'm saying imagine a world, and we're just using some like veil of ignorance, right? Where we're just like peering into a universe using our subjective experience, but imagining that in all the things that make that universe true, there are no minds there, right? So this hypothetical possible world semantics is not an issue, right? I'm just saying, like, imagine a world, where a rock exists and a rock exists alone. What's the contradiction with that world derived purely from the axioms of logic? And if you can do that, then I would have to at least reformulate my like critique.
How are you Christian?
Do you think there's a contradiction or no?
I don't understand.
Do you think there's a contradiction or no?
No.
Okay, I could point out multiple contradictions.
Let's start with one then.
Yeah. So the one I mentioned, you said to imagine, that requires a mind. It's a
Oh,
theoretical
God. No,
world.
Zach, you shouldn't have said imagine. You shouldn't have said exact imagine.
Imagine all the people.
Hold on. Reflect. If a tree falls in the forest and no one is there, does it make a sound?
Sure. Yeah, of course.
Okay, then there doesn't need a conscious mind to actualize the sound coming from the tree. That's the point. There doesn't need to be a conscious mind for things to happen.
Right. Imagine.
I don't agree with that. The first part of what you just said, because our belief system says that all living things have consciousness. All living things.
What? A carrot has consciousness? Are you
A
dumb?
rock has consciousness. A tree has consciousness.
Oh my God.
Just different.
What do you mean by consciousness? If you're
Actually,
wait,
a word for that. I don't know what it's called. Though.
if you're not equivocating, wait, AR, please. If you're not equivocating, I need to know what you mean.
That's not pantheism. Pantheism is when you think everything is God.
Wait, reflect. Define consciousness.
That's another word.
If everything is God, that means everything has consciousness.
Define consciousness, please. Reflect. Define it.
I mean, I guess I just have to pull up a dictionary for that.
No. Reflect.
I think the
No,
position
please.
I think it's
Reflect.
called universal collective consciousness.
Listen.
To where all things.
It doesn't matter when you said the word rocks are conscious. When you said conscious, there was some big brain mental content you were trying to furnish there. What is that mental content?
Rocks aren't alive.
Wait, so I'm just going to tell you what the definition of consciousness is.
No, please reflect. It's very important that you don't read to me from a dictionary. You already used the word. What did you mean when you said it?
But that's exactly what I meant.
Sure, yeah, it just so happened to fucking align with the dictionary. Go ahead.
To display awareness to its
Hold on,
surroundings.
wait, guys.
I'm trying to. You
Hold
see,
on.
the thing
Wait,
is, you're
guys,
trying to put me
one
into-
second. Hold on, one second. SCP, it's panpsychism. That's the word.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, our belief is.
Oh, yeah, panpsychic. So yeah, I knew
Are
it
you
was pan.
are you a panpsychist?
You got it.
Panpsychic.
We believe that everything.
Yeah, I know they are.
Wait, reflect. Are you a panpsychist?
Well, as the host just defined it, yeah. If that's what he means by that,
I thought we were talking to somebody reasonable.
No, but why is that? Why is that not reasonable?
You said a rock can feel, bro.
Yeah, but that's because we believe that God exists and God created everything. Everything that He created has some level of consciousness.
Okay, so
That doesn't mean
God
it has
just
the
hated
same-
rocks. The people He
that
made
doesn't
into
mean it has the
rocks.
same- No, that doesn't mean it has the same level of consciousness as us,
Oh
but it
my
has a
God.
consciousness.
Oh my
That's what we
God.
believe. That's just how it
Okay,
goes.
yeah. What's the evidence? Like, what's your argument for that?
Okay, I mean, I could give you a
What's
verse
the
from-
argument that a rock has consciousness? Go ahead.
Sure, I'll give you a verse from the book.
Nope, I want a premise and a rule of inference that ends in the conclusion a rock can feel shit.
The
Okay,
only way
let's say somebody was
provide
not
you
to
that
pick up. Hold on.
evidence-
So reflect. Let's say somebody was not to pick up scripture. Are they able to concur that without even picking up the Bible that a rock
No.
is consciousness?
They
He's
would
not even a Christian. Like we're not.
Oh, he was gonna give us a verse. I'm not.
He's the Quran.
He said
Okay, the
verse.
Quran. I apologize.
Oh, he's
presupposed
a
religion, I
Muslim.
apologize.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's not a Christian.
He's a panpsychist,
Okay, so-
okay?
Without somebody picking up scripture and going to the Quran,
Yeah, too.
how is
No, you wouldn't know that.
somebody able to concur that a rock has consciousness outside of that?
You wouldn't know that. You wouldn't know that.
How would you convince me?
But that's why I told you that I said
Dude,
this last time.
dude,
There are three
no,
different
wait,
types
please.
of-
You need to do a better job of proselytizing, okay? I want to believe that a rock has opinions or can feel shit. How are you defining consciousness, first of all, and then render the argument that ends in a rock has that property?
I mean, you
He
wanted.
doesn't have one.
Yeah, I
He
don't.
doesn't
I
have-
haven't formulated. I can just tell you in plain English.
Plain English,
that
go.
We derive we derive knowledge from revelation. We derive knowledge from what's called ilm al-yaqeen, which is which is empiricism, right? So the sense data, and also from ayn al-yaqeen, ayn al-yaqeen is sense data. Ilm al-yaqeen is rationality and logic, and then haqq al-yaqeen, which is revelation, comes from God. So those are the three primary sources of how we come to know things with certainty.
Okay, so rocks. Wait. If you could have some science gun that zapped your consciousness into a rock and the rock's conscious into you, a rock would have revelation from God.
I'm not following.
What would God? My question in plain English: what would God reveal to a fucking rock?
Why don't we just deal with the issue of God's existence? Why don't you just do that?
Because that's a claim that like people spend days and years and thousands of years talking about. When I come across somebody who thinks that a rock can feel stuff, I want to talk about that instead.
Yeah, but it won't make any difference. It's like
it makes
morality.
Difference to me. It makes you sound like it makes me think that you're less reasonable than I thought you were before.
I'll tell you why it makes no difference. Because, for instance, if we were to look at morality, I could tell you that this is moral, and you could say, no, it's not moral. Harming babies is moral, and you would say, no, it's not moral. And I would say, well, because God said in the book, this is moral, therefore it is. And you would say, yeah, but that's not how I think, and so who cares?
Question.
What difference is it?
Question.
It's an impasse.
A boulder Listen, question. I have a question. A boulder rolls down the mountain, squashes a grandma. Is that boulder immoral?
No, because it's not underneath the moral framework.
But it's conscious, right? Does it know what it's doing?
I mentioned this last time. Only those things underneath moral frameworks can be good and bad. That's
is a rock on? Look, stop acting like it's obvious that I know what you mean. You haven't defined consciousness. First of all, please define it.
I did. I said awareness.
Okay, so a rock is aware.
Yeah, it has an awareness. Yes.
Okay, so it's aware that it's crushing a grandma. It can't do anything to stop it?
As I said, only those things, entities that are underneath a moral framework. God did not
can you prove that rocks aren't under a moral framework?
Yeah.
That God didn't reveal himself to them?
That's why I said the rocks go back. Yeah, we might as well just go back to the argument of God's existence, because that's where everything.
Yeah, because you sound less like a gibberish generator when we're talking about God.
All right, let's go back. Look what guys. Wait.
AR. This guy's saying rocks are aware, and you're saying let's go back to the classical theism debate. Like what?
No, it's just that you have.
When is the next time you're gonna have a chance to have this conversation?
I understand. What I'm saying is that he can't substantiate that a rock has consciousness. But the reason why he even mentions the rock has consciousness is because he's referring back to his book, which he still has yet to substantiate.
That's what we have to do. That's why we have to. That's why we have to deal with the whole issue of God's existence first. Because once you accept God's existence, you accept He has a will. His will means that He has instruction.
Wait, I just had a revelation. I think that God is true. I still don't think rocks are aware.
Even if your revelation, even if it were
directly
true,
from God, just got it.
But Zach, he still has the burden of proof to try to substantiate God's existence. He has yet to do that. To even get,
we can talk about it as God. God makes sense.
Zach,
of the origins of the universe.
Here's the trail. Hold on, Zach.
I'm gonna cry.
Zach, here's the logic trail that he's going down. Okay, he's saying that God exists. Therefore, God inspired that book that he's reading from to get the idea that rocks are conscious. So we have to first establish that God exists in the first place to even get to the point by which he would say that a rock is conscious.
But AR, I'll say this, and then your decision is final, okay? We all know hundreds of arguments for God by premise, conclusion. We all know them. We know them by name. We know that some of us know the people that made them. Some of us know the versions of them. How often are we going to get to talk about the fact that a rock is helpless when it crushes a grandma? It can't do anything to stop it, but it's aware of it.
I don't know.
Yeah, but
on this, he did make the assertion, the positive assertion that a rock has a level of consciousness. We're just looking for the proof.
Right. But But Reflect already said that you can't know that a rock is conscious. The only reason why he knows that, or quote unquote knows that a rock is conscious,
It's from divine revelation.
From revelation, yes. So we have to then go back now to God, because in order for that to be true, we have to substantiate God's existence,
Right.
and then we have to substantiate, and then we have to substantiate that God actually wrote the Quran, or God inspired the Quran. So we have to go down that trail. We have to go back that way.
That's
the only problem.
I feel that, but I'm still.
Why do you worship a P3DO?
With like the mind blowing aspect of it.
You said what?
I think you brought up Muhammad.
Well, I'm just saying God's existence. We can look at the cause of the universe. We can look at the cause of the universe, and we can surmise from that, based on all of the scientific data that is mathematically proven, empirically proven. We've shown that most likely, to a very, very, very close degree, that the universe had a beginning. And in fact, actually, it is contradictory to assume that there is an infinite, that some infinite.
It's not contradictory. Derive the P and not P. I'm sorry. This is my wheelhouse.
Regress.
Reflect. Whenever your phone crashed, did you Google what's the consensus among cosmologists about the beginning of the universe? Did you Google that?
I think we did talk about that. Yeah, I think we looked at it.
Wait, did you hear what I just asked you?
But this is in a different. That was in a different debate.
Reflect.
Yes,
did you hear what I asked?
I heard what you asked.
What did I ask?
I check the consensus of.
Did you?
Of physicists.
Yeah, did you?
I said in a different debate, and I believe it was AR.
I asked if you Googled it.
As I told you, yeah.
Okay, what did it say?
We came to the conclusion, AR, if you remember, that it was in the scientific field, something like 70% are actually atheistic. And their conclusion is that we can't know that the universe existed. We have some ideas and some theories.
Okay, so
but cool. They were atheistic. It was the whole point, is that they are atheists, and their atheism, I was arguing that their atheism, it influences their conclusions.
Reflect. Could God have made a past infinite universe?
Atheism is rational.
It's not, though.
Could God have made a past infinite universe?
I couldn't hear what you said.
Could God have made a past infinite universe?
That's a good question.
No, because that would.
Why not? Can he do all things that are logically possible?
Well, I mean, God wouldn't, because if God.
We're peering into. Do you think you have access? Do you think you have access to all the reasons that God's conduct?
Why are you so angry with God? I mean, I don't get it.
I don't care about your superstition. Answer my question.
He doesn't believe in, dumbass.
Yeah, if it's so imaginary,
listen.
You don't believe in it.
Yeah, because I believe. You know, want to know why? Because I think that harm. Wait, no, please.
God, he's getting angry with you.
Yeah, I think that harm is a scale. Listen, I think harm is on a scale. I think believing in something that's false can cause you to formulate beliefs about other things that are false, and I think that's harmful. And I'm against harm. Okay, so when you say, no.
Put that into a syllogism, or else I won't accept it.
Okay, I will. I will. If there's nothing logically impossible about God creating a past infinite universe, he could have done so. Premise 2, modus ponens. There you go.
Also, there's nothing wrong with the infinite regress. I want to hear the contradiction in the infinite regress.
Sure.
Yeah,
what's
same.
wrong with infinite regress? Infinite regress is contradictory because
derive it.
If any entity is dependent upon its past,
we couldn't make it to today.
If it's dependent upon any past entity, and those past entities are in the number of infinity, then you never get the entity itself. It never exists. It doesn't exist.
You have such an elementary understanding of infinite sets. That's crazy.
That's not an infinite set.
Yeah, it is an infinite set.
Reflect. SCP.
It is, but it's not the one we're talking about. We saying
SCP. Do you agree with me that there are? Wait, reflect. 1 second. I'm talking to somebody I respect. Okay. Hey, do you agree that there's an infinite number of infinite sets that have both a beginning and an end?
It's dependent upon a past entity.
Boom. Reflect. You heard that? You heard that?
No, let me finish by saying.
I wish you would never have started, but yeah. Okay, so there are an infinite number of infinite sets that both have a beginning and they have an end. So all this talk about it can never have started is bullshit, right?
No, I didn't even hear what you said. I got muted. It's like we
Okay,
can't talk over each other. But
Look,
I think your name is Eric. What's your name?
That's why I muted you.
Zach.
My name's Zach, yeah.
Zach, you need to stop interrupting. We can
Sure.
talk one at a
Yeah,
time.
once
It's
you
perfectly
say stuff
fine.
that's worth listening to, I will, okay? But look,
So then calm
anybody
down
who
and
understands
talk one at a
infinity
time.
more than an elementary school level will tell you there's an infinite number of infinite sets that have both a beginning and an end. So all this talk
Give
about
me an example of
Yeah.
infinity that is in the real world,
the real numbers
Not
between 1 and 2.
not mathematical.
No, yeah, I mean, he's right there, Zach. I mean, there is an
Yeah, but
example.
if you're talking like nobody, oh my god.
Okay, so
I mean, that's true.
There is in the real world. There is infinities. Why are we?
There actually is, yeah.
Like,
no,
in
but
math,
those are
there is.
axiomatic and they're based on math. I'm talking about real things.
Yes, there are.
Listen,
infinities
reflect.
in the
For
real
every
world.
t, there's t minus
Ever
1
heard
that
of black
preceded it
holes?
temporally.
There is infinities in the real world. Like you act like black holes don't have a singularity.
But
Yeah, black holes that have infinite density. That's infinite. What are you talking about?
Yeah, there's an infinite density in a black hole. Like what are we talking about here?
infinite density.
Yes. In a
Yeah,
black
like
hole,
how
yes.
you are when you're coming to
Yeah,
logical
it's
conclusions.
still an infinity. It counts.
I actually looked this up yesterday, and they said that there is the conventional thinking is that there is an infinite density in the center of a black hole, but in fact, actually, that's not true, and they found that it isn't true. I'm gonna pull up the article because this really does
Wow.
prove that. And even if that is the case, that infinite density is the same thing.
Hey,
as
but
zero.
but let's say you prove every black hole wrong. What does that have to do with a past infinite universe? Do you agree that there's uniformity in
What does that
nature?
have to do with it?
because the point was.
Do you
is that
agree
we
that
cannot-
there's uniformity in
we don't-
nature? That was
we
the
can't
question.
find-
Sorry, I'm
we
just
can't
going to interrupt
find-
you when you say stuff that I didn't ask. Do you agree there's uniformity in nature?
Keep getting muted. Can whoever is muting me, please.
The
stop
question
muting.
is, do you
Because
do
I'm
you,
talking
do you
about
agree
people,
that there's uniformity in nature?
Uniformity in what sense?
In the same way that you mean when you say there's uniformity in nature, sameness, a reliability of
did I
cause
say
and
that?
effect.
When did I say that? I never said that there was.
I didn't say that you fucking said it. You semantically are impoverished, okay? Listen, I'm saying some level of sameness, a reliability of cause and effect.
Well, there are certain things that are consistent
Okay.
in the material world, like cause and effect.
Okay.
That would be
Yeah,
consistent
so
underneath
do
the
you agree
time-
for
underneath-
since we've
underneath. You see, you keep cutting me off, and it makes it hard for me to express what I'm trying to say.
I know, but
That underneath
the stuff that you have to say
underneath-
that's worth substance has already been said when you answer my question.
Zach, you don't want to hear what I have to say, so just
That's
don't.
correct.
Don't try.
Yeah, so
Other
listen.
other people would
Do you
like to have
agree?
conversations.
Oh my god. Look.
So-
I value your worldview, okay? I'm just trying to get a point across, and then you can say whatever you want to me. But when I'm trying to push a line of questioning to see if there's a hole in your worldview, you should respect that prodding. Because I would respect it if you thought that I had some flaw in my view. I would respect it and I would let you pursue that. So let me pursue it, okay?
Cool, you have many flaws, but go ahead.
Okay,
Many
yeah,
flaws.
pursue them after, okay? But now, please just be sincere with me, okay?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
But don't cut me off then, and we'll both be on the same
Okay,
point. Go
cool.
ahead.
I'm glad that we're stopped. I'm sorry that was emotional. It was pissing me off. I'm sorry. So, do you agree that, let's just say for observed history, recorded history, for every time t, there's been a time t minus 1 that preceded it. Do we agree?
No, we don't. We don't agree. There's a t equals 0. There's a t equals 0. I am not agreeing that
I'm not
there's a
talking about t
negative
equals
1.
0. You can't listen. You said to be honest.
You said that every point t, there is a time t equals 0.
No, I
If
didn't.
said
No, I
t-
didn't. No,
I'm
I
sorry,
didn't.
A time t negative
I'll
1.
repeat
And
it.
I said,
I'll repeat
you
it.
said
I already said
okay.
you got it wrong. There's no reason for you to keep talking. Listen.
Say
Now,
it again.
I'll ask the same question again, okay? Look, I'm calm down. Do you agree that only talking about recorded history, right? Since we started writing shit down about what was going on, for every time t, there's been a time t minus 1 that preceded it.
How about the very first point of writing down history?
I'm not-
Is that not a point? That would be the t0.
Oh my fucking
Right?
Christ.
Or
Did
that would
humans
be
exist
18.
during the Big Bang, dumbass?
Look, you said recorded.
Stop!
Listen to
Shut
yourself.
up. Stop answering questions I don't
Listen to
ask.
yourself. listen to yourself. If you're going to ask me a
Shut
question,
up.
you need to
Shut
let
up.
me answer the question.
You're not
Okay?
answering the question. You're answering a different
Every
question.
time I try to explain, you just cut me off.
Yo, guys, wait, maybe Zach, maybe I could.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on, guys.
Go ahead.
I mean, I'm answering the question. You just jumping in. Like,
maybe.
Wait. I got a question. Why is it always the black guys that are so fucking stupid? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh my
That's a good question.
God! What the
Let me
fuck?
respond to the question. The question was simple. Hold on a second. Okay, but I don't want to be. No, I don't want that. Okay, so you said a T.
I kicked Jay. I'm sorry. I kicked Jay.
Very simple. Very simple. Look. If you're saying that every point there is some point before it essentially is what you're saying, and I'm saying no because at T0 there is no T. There's no time. Before that doesn't even make sense. There's nothing before because before implies time. So time itself at 0 means it doesn't exist.
You're doing that's great job. Great job.
0 means it doesn't exist.
You're doing that's great job.
I didn't. Oh, I'm not a mod.
Maybe his phone died.
Probably his phone died.
Maybe his Wi-Fi was lagged out. That wasn't me. I didn't kick nobody. I don't know who
It
did
makes it very difficult to just converse because he just
Zach, what happened, bro?
I
didn't kick you, Zach.
Get Jay out of here, bro.
Yeah. So
Wait, what did Jay do?
reflect.
What did Jay do? Jay's cool. He was just trolling. He's cool.
I didn't do shit.
Okay, I thought it was for real. I was like, hey, yo.
Yeah, he was just trolling. I know Jay. He's my friend.
Okay.
Regular, right?
I've talked to Jay
I
before
should
too. I
kick
just thought it was
BRK
weird.
though, because he's not saying anything.
The thing is, you become emotional
dude,
about something just because you
once we get to a good topic,
heard it before.
All right, bro.
Look, I have a question, and it's a genuine question. Do you think that you know the point I'm trying to make more than I do?
Well, no, because you're the one with the point.
Okay, so please trust that the point that you're addressing isn't the one I'm making, okay? And please try to address the point I'm making, okay?
Go ahead. If you ask me the same question, I'm gonna say no still.
Okay, yeah. So since there have been humans writing shit down, aka not at the fucking Big Bang, right? Not at T0. Since there have been humans writing shit down, do you agree that every time T is at a time T-1 that preceded it?
Okay, now I'm going to explain it. Don't cut me off. From the point that humans have been writing stuff down, the very first point, I would call that in the set of time that we are investigating, T0. There's no time or point before that because it's not a point of recorded history. Do you get the point?
Yeah.
See my point? Okay.
Yeah, you're equivocating on the variable T there. And you're saying something, and if you're not equivocating, then you're saying something like, before cavemen started painting on walls, reality didn't exist, or some dumb shit like that. So, which is it? Are you equivocating, or are you saying dumb shit?
I'm making the clarification of what I mean when I say T equals 0. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Zach.
You don't really have an understanding of eternity or infancy, infinites.
Yeah.
Like he was saying earlier, like you could just parse out like the present time minus minus -1 is just the past, and you just have like this constant counting where you reach -1, and then right after -1 is 0, which is a representation of the present, and then you count up from there to eternity. So yeah, you can chunk out, like using B theory of time, you can like chunk out these segments of infinite chunks, I guess you could call them, where there's a beginning and an ending, and it's an infinite. Sort of like when the Big Bang happened, everything from the Big Bang to right now, right, can be considered an infinite series, because there's a -1. There's a -1 correlation to the present. So you go 0, -1, -2, -3, so on and so on and so on and so on until the existence that we know of right now happens.
But that's quantitative. Quantitative
Exactly.
infinities exist all the time. We're not talking about quantitative.
Yeah, that's
We're talking about
quantitative. That's
qualitative.
what we're talking about.
No,
That is what we're talking about,
That's why I'm
dumbass.
saying
Qualitative.
quantitative.
How you getting qualitative from infinities? Like
Quantitative has
what the fuck are you talking about?
Can you let me finish? Quantitative infinities, they deal with axioms, conventions, math, measurements, all of that. You can have infinities within that realm because it's the math realm. It's not real discrete parts and discrete things that exist.
Yeah, so like if it's just an infinite regress of these mathematical things, where does this infinite regress of mathematical things exist? How does it exist?
Okay, prove.
That's
No,
not a what
prove.
question.
Let's
That's a
not.
basic
Hold
common
on,
sense
wait. Hold on. There's no where it
Proof
exists.
is begging the question.
It's not. Yeah, hold on, prove.
And I'm not asking that question.
Let's go back. No, wait. Let's go back to reflect.
I have no clue what I just said.
What I'm saying is
Hold on,
that
prove.
what I'm saying is that real infinite things, infinite things that have discrete parts, that are discrete items that we cannot export that into the real world. It just is not possible.
You think that the universe is space and time?
Because of the factor of time. Time is a limiting factor. Limits.
Reflex. Do you believe in a singularity?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
That infinite exists. Infinite exists.
But the description of that is mathematical. The description of that is mathematical. But what is it in reality? It's zero.
Do you know what a singularity is, dude? You said you like believe in them. Do you know what they actually are?
What density does it singularity have?
Infinite.
I want him.
You're muted.
I want Reflect to answer what density does it.
Zach, I think it's Zach. Can you please stop muting me? So we can.
No, it's SCP. He's muting everybody. He's abusing his powers.
Okay, so when we say,
I'm not abusing my powers.
Let he who is without sin cast the first stone, brother.
Wait, come on, guys. Why are you guys interrupting him? Reflect, go ahead.
When we say that some entity, its value goes to infinity, when we're talking about.
No.
Let me finish though. When we say that it goes to infinity, that actually only means that it is zero. It's going to zero when we're talking about density. When we're talking about density.
Oh my gosh, you're so fucking wrong.
No, reflect. That doesn't mean it goes to zero. No,
I'm saying its actual value is nothing. It's the same thing as saying
the volume is nothing. The volume's nothing. But the energy
volume is nothing. But the volume is a denominator. When we're talking about density,
but if the volume is
hold on.
If the volume is nothing, then also that would mean that heat doesn't exist, density doesn't exist because it's acting on nothing.
Reflect.
What?
When you're talking about a singularity, it's an infinitely dense point, right? That's what singularities are.
And that's just going to be analytically true. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
But what is
that was a question. That was a question.
Wait, I'm
Did you hear my question?
What is an infinite
did you hear my question?
Let me finish.
Did you hear my question?
Let me finish.
No, because I asked this question before you started talking.
No, wait. Let him respond to me, and then he'll respond to you. Go ahead.
What is an infinite density that acts upon a point of no volume?
That's literally why it's an infinite density. It's because if you have a denominator of zero and you have whatever number on top, you tend towards infinity. That's how fractions work.
But this is why my point is that no energy, no space, no time, no matter, nothing.
No, there is. No, there's energy. There's energy at this dense point. This is what it is. It's infinite density at this dense point, which also has infinite energy.
No, but actually, I mean, this is why I mentioned this last time. Lawrence Krauss wrote the universe from nothing.
Hold on, reflect. Density equals mass over volume, right? And if you have infinite mass on the top, and then you have volume tending towards zero, or volume at zero, then density equals infinity. You got hyper density. You have zero density. It doesn't have no mass. It has all the mass and then some. It's beyond, right? Like, this is why it's called infinitely dense points.
And that's just going to be analytically true. Do you know what analytic truth is?
They have extremely strong gravitational pulls.
A lot of people.
Reflect. I don't know what the fuck you've been reading, bro. I understand. You've been reading some whacked out shit.
Wait, Reflect. Do you know what analytic truth is?
Makes any fucking sense.
I mean, he's reading the Quran. That's
Reflect. Do you know what analytic truth is? That's the question.
Do I know what an analytic truth is?
Yeah.
Why don't you just explain it? Go ahead.
Yeah, analytic truth is something that's true by definition of the word. So like a bachelor is an unmarried man, right? So the reason it's impossible for a married man to be a bachelor is because the definition of bachelor means unmarried man. So that would be a contradiction, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So a singularity is defined as an infinitely dense state. That's just going to be analytically true, right?
Yeah, but I mean, math, 2 + 2 = 4. That's an analytic truth then.
Okay, that's correct.
Yeah, but if you believe the singularity actually exists, then you believe in infinities. Unless you say that.
Exactly.
Unless